I don't know what happened on the last live. It was fine, and then suddenly it said disconnect. If it does it again, then obviously there's a bug with YouTube at the moment. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We are all here now. Nanny Bluebell, Sharon Elston. Total Storm Addict, your card went out this morning. God knows when it's going to find you in the outback. But I just love the idea that we're posting a letter to you in the outback or in the bush. So hope you're well, Total Storm Addict. Did you say it's your birthday? I saw someone's birthday on the previous live. Sadie's Jeffs, could you please keep my dad in your thoughts? He's currently in hospital after an accident. Oh no, he tripped and smashed his head on a radiator.
Oh no, don't. My dad's been ill last week. It's the worst feeling, isn't it?
Oh, sweetie.
When they're vulnerable like that. Sending lots of love to you and your dad. Yeah, sending
lots of love, absolutely. I remember the time poor old Nanny Thelma, a couple of years before she passed away, sadly, do you remember she fell in the bath and was trapped in the bath? It was just awful, awful. I found such a great photo of my nan yesterday of her playing snooker or pool. I'm going to post it on my feed. It reminded me of... She wanted to be out in the world more than she was. That's what, I just don't know what she would have made of this crisis. Louise Jones, I'm sat at the hairdressers with foils in my hair watching you. Louise Jones.
Hello, Louise Jones. Hello, everyone in the hairdressers.
Hi, everyone. How are you all? Have you got any of those big machines that ladies sit under? Do they still have them? They sort of seem the height of unecological.
I remember when I was really young once and I was a bridesmaid. So I was probably about 5 or 6 and we had to spend this day in the hairdressers and I'd never been to the hairdressers.
Yeah.
And they put me under one of those things, but nobody had explained what it was. Right. And I literally sat there with tears rolling down my face, thinking that I was going to be taken away by aliens or something. It was the most scary thing, but I was frozen to the spot. Wow. So I just didn't understand. And it just goes like this. Ooh. Yeah. So you can imagine, if nobody's explained to you what it is.
I thought they were all women having their brains read. Or programmed.
Yeah.
Like the Stepford Wives.
Like
do you remember that? Carly, you know. Let's say hello to everyone in her Zoom meeting because they're all cheering us. Carly, you know. Hi to your Zoom meeting.
Zoom.
Sorry about that. Morning, everyone from the west of Ireland. Cora Bell.
Well, morning.
Why does even your name sound like a piece of sort of
and the west of Ireland. It just sounds so lovely.
It sounds like a bit of coral reef. Cora Bell. Something about the Irish names that are great. Total Storm Addict, hair blow dryer. Tim Reed's birthday. Tim?
Happy birthday to you.
Tim.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to Tim. Happy birthday to you.
Are you really ruining the birthday?
It's Tim. It's my Tim. Okay. We're in the fellowship together. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Timothy Tim. Boom. Happy birthday to you. There you go.
Hope you have a lovely day, Tim.
Tim will now. Won't you, Tim? Tim's going to have a rocking day today.
If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell.
Sorry, get away from me.
Subscribe.
So anyway, I've pulled my back out. I'm quite hot and I'm quite stressed because Nadia's left total decimation in the stairwell. And we were talking before we were cut off before about I should have known if you were logical or illogical.
Exactly.
Yeah, I should have.
Did you know enough about me before we got married?
No, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know who you were as a presenter. No. Everyone else is going, have you seen this thing called Loose Talk or something? What was it called before Loose Women?
Live Talk.
No,
it was originally called Loose Women, and then for years,
yeah.
and then some
strange
new boss came in and said, "Let's change it to Live Talk."
Yeah, someone said there's this bird. I think she was in EastEnders. Something else.
And we were all Live Talk. You've got to be joking, but we had to put up with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, she moved on.
Yeah,
she was the one that gave me the job as the quizmaster.
I was talking about how I first heard of you, but you've moved on to indulging in your own little...
Did anyone ever see a quiz I used to do called It's Not the Answer? It was only one series. Did anyone ever see it?
Clearly it wasn't the answer.
Oh my God, if somebody could find an episode of that, oh my God, it was so awful. Oh. It really was awful. Could we find an episode of it?
Yeah, no, it sounds hysterical.
How could we find it?
I don't know. Christine Saunderson, my hubby Malcolm is in bed with a slip disc. He cannot move.
Oh no, Malcolm.
What is a slip disc?
It's when your disc slips.
Yeah, but where are your discs?
Just slips out a bit and then it rubs.
I always thought there were two huge kind of like compact discs.
No,
at the bottom.
Discs.
One there and one there. And I thought they slipped, but actually it's the little it's the little ones, isn't it, in your spine? Is that right?
Jessica, don't worry, I didn't have the milk.
just wanted to touch your back, actually. It's very nice, isn't it, this shirt? Show everyone.
It's all right.
It is all right. No, it's only all right. I'm overdoing it. I'm overselling it. I'm trying to ingratiate myself with it. Christine Saunderson, send our regards to Malcolm. Does Malcolm feel like he's in the middle?
Mark.
Tim Reed, yep, my sister due round today. Time to tidy up the flat. Get to it, Timmy boy. Lynn Aoki, they're in between the vertebrae. Andrea Crash, Kia Ora, Mark and Nadia from Kiwiland. You're in the future. We're in the past. No. Yes, you're in the future. Isn't that weird for New Zealand?
I don't understand it.
They're in the future. Think
It's a
about
head
it.
fuck. I
No,
can't
just stop.
do it. No, I can't.
No, just stop.
No, I don't like it.
Just try it.
It's too
Hang
confusing.
on. No, look at the lens. Just look up there. No, hands over fly.
I bet
To
Lee
New
knows how
Zealand.
much you're annoying
If you were
me.
to
Lee
fly
knows.
to New
Lee knows.
Zealand,
If Lee's
if you were
watching,
to
Lee
fly
knows.
to New Zealand, you'd be flying into the past but the future.
Why have you got your hand on my back?
Because I like the touch of your back. I keep saying this, really odd. I'm really drawn to that
Mark,
part.
you're
at the lower
behaving like
back.
a weirdo and people think you're weird.
Hi, Lee. Tell the story of when you corpsed. Where is it? Tell the story. Where's he gone? Where have you gone, Lee?
Lee.
Your discs are between the parts of your spinal column. Where are you? You're saying, tell the story of when you corpsed on the quiz show.
No, I can't. It's too long.
It's very funny. I'm only saying I know that because I've heard it 6 zillion times. But yeah, tell us again.
No, I'm not. How am I going to tell a story when you sat there and went, I've listened to it 6 zillion times?
Because we have.
Do you know how many times I've listened to you when you broke your bloody rib and you had an apple and it was the most delicious apple that you've ever had?
Yeah, I know, it's boring.
But I have heard it 6 zillion
Yeah,
times.
and I've heard yours 6
But I would
zillion
never
times.
say that.
No, but you just have.
I listen to it every time.
No, you
Yeah, but I
don't.
need
No, you
to-
don't. You sit there like this. It's always the point at which you get in your phone and go...
Anyway, everyone's got a bad back today. Hazel Melbourne has as well.
My back is truly knackered, she says. Oh, right, Hazel. No, properly. Jessica
Think
asking
about
how
doing
is...
Pilates and yoga.
Jessica Woodstock, hello, my darling. How is Teddy?
Oh, he's much better today. And my mum just texted me. He's gone in the garden, which is a good sign. The antibiotics are kicking in. So he's much better. He still hasn't had an MRI scan on his head, which he needs to. But,
There's MRI scans happening everywhere, and Annie Dye's having an MRI scan as well. Sophie R, haven't had a chance to listen to your lovely recommendation of Pilot TV podcast, but I can tell you that there is a new podcast landing today, and it's just landed, from Sober Dave, and it's called One for the Road, which I think is a really nice title for it. He's going to talk with alcoholics and addicts about life. And what I like about it, it clearly sounds like he's just sharing in stories rather than coming at it about how do you maintain sobriety, though that will be part of it. So it's a long 1 hour chat where I think I ran the risk of oversharing a little bit too much, but there we go. Story of our lives, eh, Nads?
So is it available to watch now?
It's available to watch now on Spotify and on iTunes, and it's called One for the Road, and it's by Sober Dave. James McBeer, I'm glad to hear about Teddy. Yeah, it has been a very stressful week of worry and fear.
And because I felt ill all week as well, so it just...
What are you going to do about your tooth, babe?
I don't want to talk about my tooth. Nadia, could you do a meal in minutes and make lasagna, my favourite Andy pick? No,
Eh?
I can't. Because you can't do a lasagna in under 20 minutes.
You could if you said come back and you have one edit.
Well, no, because the whole point is no, what
Yeah,
I'm
but-
thinking of doing is having another playlist for other dishes for longer, because there's lots of stuff that I can do that, but I think we have to keep it under 20
But don't you
minutes.
think for some people, the sort of arduous process of cooking is the cooking, whereas once you've popped it in the oven, that's the end of the cooking process.
No, because Nadia's meal in minutes are people that are knackered and need food on the table quickly. It's not about coming home and put something in the oven for 40 minutes.
obviously hadn't read the small print.
Exactly.
Crikey, I
But
didn't
I
realise
will
it was
make
so...
a lasagna. We will make a lasagna and we'll just pop it up as a separate, but not on that playlist.
Well, Andy Pilk, you asked very nicely, but you got a straight no.
No, but only in meals and minutes. But Andy, I'm going to make a special lasagna for you. And in the members area this Sunday, guys, wow, I've made a white lasagna. So it's a chicken. There's
Oh,
no
in the Sunday
tomato
show, yeah.
in it. It's for this Sunday, isn't it?
It's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Last Sunday's one. With a creamy sauce and I can't remember when I filmed it, when it was going out. So it's really delicious. White lasagna. Yum.
Ooh, yum yum. It was really nice, and it was lovely to film as well. It was really, really pretty dish. Diane Lloyd, you joined on the last live as a member, and obviously it's not notified here, so we will be giving you a welcome at the end.
A welcome song. Stay
Now,
tuned.
I predicted this, and it's hardly surprising.
I predict a riot. I used to love that tune.
Well, you could be right there. New trial for Chauvin in the George Floyd case.
Oh God, what's this? I looked at the news this morning. I didn't see this.
His attorneys have put in the appeal.
But is that just standard?
Yeah. So it's not necessarily happening,
Right.
but they've put in the appeal, and with the appeal, what's slightly nerve-wracking is that all the details of the appeal are everything we feared they would be. They're talking about intimidated witnesses, intimidated jurors.
Yeah.
The
That's
fact
the
that
worry.
the fact that it was in the public domain, the story, that
Always
he
worried
couldn't be
about
given
that.
a fair hearing. Nelson is the attorney for
You know what I
Chauvin,
really
accuses the jury of committing misconduct. Now, this is the most intriguing.
Yeah, you've
he
always
accused the
said
jury, listen to this,
Yeah.
of committing misconduct.
Yeah.
May have felt threatened or intimidated, felt race-based pressure during the proceedings, and failed to adhere to instructions. He also is pulling the judge up on not following due procedure, saying that there are
hell.
mistakes made by Hennepin Judge Peter Carhill, prosecutorial misconduct and juror misconduct and witness intimidation. They're going in for a whole lot. Now, that would explain why there was a certain sort of cocky slap on the back and a sort of very sort of affable popping of the, what they call handcuffs on Chauvin as he went off. There was no concern. It looked like they knew this was a due procedure. They're going to get a guilty verdict, and now it moves on. I just think it's as inevitable as the sun rising.
But this was always going to be the
Hazel
case
Mullen,
with this
one juror
case.
was at a rally.
This is always going to be the case, isn't it? I mean, I really worried about that with the Sarah Everard case because he was,
But to be fair with the Sarah
there's
Everard,
a lot about him as well. You do have to be careful, though, what this report... But in America, they don't seem to have the same rules. I mean, we knew everything about Weinstein. There were documentaries made about Weinstein. I saw 3 or 4 before his case came to court, so...
and Weinstein is about to be
You couldn't have a
flown over to
documentary
LA.
here about the Sarah Everard murderer. You couldn't, not before the court case.
But to be fair, they did close down all coverage on the Sarah Everard, and we've heard nothing, haven't we?
Yeah, but they didn't in America, and is that just because it's very different there and you are allowed to report? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the Noel Clarke story is deeply sort of worrying, isn't it? I mean, I'm right in thinking at this stage it's all allegations. I know that the police were handed a dossier of organised kind of... I mean, some of the things I'm hearing on the grapevine that seem to have happened, and again, this is allegedly, it doesn't sound great. We were talking about the Chauvin case, and then we were talking about Noel Clarke, just briefly.
Yeah.
Just going to flick you over to 4G. We've got the classic internet problem again. It's those solar flares, guys. I think, were you talking about it in your coffee morning yesterday about feeling strange at the moment? Apparently, someone said underneath a live yesterday that there is some kind of earth murmuring.
Yeah, I everyone I speak to has felt really weird over the last week.
Tired, extraordinarily tired.
For me, it's kind of like this pulling down. It's almost like a magnetic force.
Yeah.
It's a very odd feeling.
Absolutely. Total Storm Addict, I'm off for a detect. Have an awesome day, guys. Bye. I hope your card finds you in whatever rocky knoll you'll be in. Happy birthday to Blake. I think Blake somewhere's got a birthday going.
Oh, Sky Elise. Oh, yes. Asked me to remind you to watch. We need to watch and film the latest film she's done.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. It's just been quite bumpy and busy.
That could go up.
But yes.
We could do that sort of.
Yeah, your new Home Time compilation, Sky. Absolutely.
So excited.
Yeah, very looking forward to that. What was I going to say? Yeah, so that's one piece of news that's come up. Another odd bit of news today is that France are threatening to turn off the lights in Jersey.
I know.
Have you heard about
They're
this?
just going to cut the lecky off over the fish.
This is the kind of thing you think Russia would do,
I
not
can't
necessarily
believe
France.
it when I read this morning.
So are we seriously in a situation where, because of the fishing situation, the French are going to just basically go, boom, and all of...
How are we so fucked up as a country that everybody else has the switches to everything? I mean,
Well,
it's
it's a
the same
switch
with
to
Russia.
Jersey. I guess it kind of makes sense because Jersey's kind of closer to France, isn't it?
But Russia's got the switch to everyone, haven't they?
Well, Russia's
The
got
gas.
pipelines to enormous places. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, so this is in response to France has threatened to cut off Jersey's electric supplies, and they supply 95% of the electricity to Jersey. So, unless you've got your own little solar-powered energy, sort of, or a wind power thing, you're going to be screwed. As the row between Paris and London over Brexit fishing rights exacerbates, the maritime minister in France said, "We are ready to use these retaliation measures." What about that? Don't we have some people who live in Jersey, or is it Guernsey? I can't remember. We've got some Jersey followers, haven't we? In Guernsey, Gabrielle, the world's gone batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy.
I was working with an editor yesterday, and like he said you can feel the tumbleweed amongst the news gathering at the moment. Now that COVID has disappeared, they're all scrambling for where the next crisis is going to be, aren't they? They really are. But I mean, that would be a crisis for Jersey if that's the case. Another big news story today is that Priti Patel has announced that there's going to be a special UK points-based immigration system for stars. Not stars, but for like Oscar winners. Sorry, I've been running around, which is why I'm a bit sweaty. Oscar winners are going to be given a special permission to emigrate. Do you think that's allowed? Do you think
is this just one of those news headlines?
No. Renée Zellweger and other international celebrities have been granted VIP status under the government's new points-based immigration system. She's included on a new global talent visa route because she's an Oscar winner.
But this has always been the case. If you're very wealthy, or if you're it's always been this way, hasn't it?
Has it?
Yeah.
I don't think it has, insofar as you're allowed to live here and work here now. This is big. This is a big deal. This is like a green card for people who are. But it's only if you've won. What I like about it, it's only if you've won in certain categories. So you're only entitled to it if, in film, TV, and theatre, you win Best Actress, Actor, or Director in the BAFTAs. I mean, it's that specific. And
this is extraordinary.
So I suppose if you win Best Oscar for Costume Design,
then
can't.
It's not included.
Yeah.
It's shocking. I can't stand that woman.
What woman?
Priti Patel.
Oh, Priti Patel. What do you think of that, guys? What do you think of that? VIP, as if a VIP doesn't carry COVID. Priti Patel, says Linnea, is a moron. Can I watch her? I saw Beyonce is on the list. Is she an actress? No, there's also singers too. If you've won Grammys, Brit Awards, if you won a Brit Award, you can. It's really.
So what about if you've won a Nobel Peace Prize?
Yes, no, that's included. There are some for the sciences too. Let's have a look. At the bottom it has a list of them here.
So you're just deemed
and
an
theatre.
But I just think this is shocking.
So if you're
this is just unbelievable.
If you're a Nobel Prize winner in physics, chemistry, economic science, and medicine, you're allowed.
What if you're an extraordinary doctor or nurse, or
But you
save
haven't won
people's
something.
lives? Yeah, I mean, how do we determine this? It's like my dad always used to say that when he was an actor, and he said, he'd be at a party or something, and people would want to talk to him because he was an actor, and he goes, and I was the most uninteresting person there. There would be lawyers and surgeons, and why do they want to talk to me? He always used to say that. When you think of what so many people are doing so many brilliant things.
Yeah.
I just think that's...
Maybe,
it's so Priti Patel.
Maybe Priti Patel wants to increase her Instagram reach. Maybe she wants to get likes and follows from all these people.
Julie says they've all lost the effing plot.
Well, interestingly, on that note, that would they, just because they're celebrities, would they not still bring COVID into the country? Apparently,
probably not. Probably because they're so.
Do you think?
Yes, they're probably immune.
Oh, Sarah Fox.
Sil Carney awards for the rich and powerful who already have influence, and not the hard-working who don't have time to win awards because they're working hard. Exactly, Sil Carney.
Sil Carney.
Exactly.
You took the words right out of Nadia Sawalha off the telly's mouth.
You did.
Sarah Fox, what about if you've got a Blue Peter badge? I think that's a fair question, Sarah. A really fair question. They're above COVID. Xander, why are we surprised the Tories have turned into a bunch of ass-kissing globalist assholes? Boom.
Fair voice Jenny Ella Cook says it's just bullshit and vulgar.
Yeah, and YouTube's decided to hold that back.
That's a very
but
good
We're going to let that come through.
Vulgar, off-putting.
Victoria Jacobs, I won a Blue Peter
the worst
badge
kind
in
of
1993.
social climbing. It's just...
Jill Orrell, 100-metre swimming badge. Someone somewhere, Brownie sewing badge.
Absolutely.
I think we should kind of move it. I have a Duke of Edinburgh award. Carly
Am
Kay,
I okay?
Am I okay?
Yeah,
there
you're
you go.
in.
So, on that note of whether celebrities could bring COVID into this country, it'll come as no surprise that Sky News just 10 minutes ago reported that in the G7 delegation from India, 2 members of the Indian delegation have tested positive for COVID. When Are we
going
gonna
to learn?
get
Hang on a
our
minute.
heads around this?
Hang on a minute. Tom Hanks kicked this all off.
What do you mean?
What do you remember when him and his wife had
Went to
COVID and they
Australia.
went to Australia?
Well, they were in Australia when they were told that they didn't travel there.
Yeah,
with
but I
it.
mean, he was the first major celebrity who was travelling with COVID.
True. Yeah, true. But what do you think of the two members of the G7 Indian delegation? It seems obvious, doesn't it seem obvious?
You know,
that it's going to happen?
I said this yesterday, and again, John Campbell referred to it again last night.
John Campbell, this John Campbell.
In
I've had it.
Australia.
John Campbell.
In Australia,
Bored.
you are not allowed back to to live in Australia, even if you are a national. If you have been in India, and you will get a 5-year jail sentence if you try and find a way back into Australia. That's how seriously they take the variants. And yet somebody I know, who knows somebody, I can't say their names, who is a air steward on a very famous airline, says that every day the flights are coming in packed full.
Oh, and apparently
Packed full.
lots and lots
And the
of
poor
flights.
stewards that are unhappy with it because they're coming back packed full from India have no recourse. They just have to put up with it.
Thanks, Zoe. Zoe hasn't been hooked into your John Campbell obsession. She hasn't watched one of his videos.
Zoe!
Apparently, lots of people from Pakistan and India are travelling back here through Turkey.
Well, if they
taking
did
a
that
holiday
in Australia,
Turkey.
if they did that in Australia, they would get 5 years in prison.
Yeah.
There is no recourse here. I mean, you can get a £10,000 fine, can't you, if you're found out? But how are we finding out? I mean, we're not, are we?
No. Now, on the radio yesterday, driving back from the edit, I was listening to a really, really intense and sensible assessment of where we're at in the crisis.
Right.
The only real risk, because boosters are coming in the autumn. Feeling a bit peaky, aren't
No,
you?
it's my tooth.
I know. The booster is coming in the autumn, and the plan with the booster is that the booster is going to come, and it's going to be effective, and they're going to implement it for everyone over 50. So same rules for the booster coming probably August, September. For all over 50-year-olds. But
No, not definite, though.
No,
They're waiting
This
to
is
see.
what they're
making
talking
it
about.
possible.
They're very confident that
Yeah.
the research shows that if they do that, they're not going to need to boost anyone under 50,
Under 50,
after
yeah.
that. They're also talking about normal Christmas. I mean, this is really exciting news. This is the caveat, this is the big but, which is why it drives me fucking nuts that the G7, an Indian delegation is even allowed. Their only concern is a variant that dodges the vaccine, is efficacy. And they were saying that they're not concerned about the Indian variants, though, of course, they're running ragged through India because of a lack of vaccination and because of social, transmission and all that. The one variant, they said, once again, they have the most concern about is the South African variant. They still say that that's the only one that demonstrates a potential for vaccine evasion.
And I think, I can't remember.
It was just
now.
nice to have it clear.
Did anyone see the vaccine minister this morning talking? Did he say that the Moderna was the most effective against the South African?
Yeah.
I think he might have said the Moderna. But interesting, they've ordered another 60 million Pfizer, haven't they? So maybe they know something about the Pfizer and a particular variant.
Mask Kid Gaming. Yes, Australia has banned flights from India. I live in Perth. Not even the cricketers are allowed to come back. There you go. That's
Wow. Well,
interesting.
Priti Patel would let them come back if they had an award.
That's true, especially if they'd won the Ashes.
Yeah. I mean, it's brutal. It's like John said last night. It's absolutely brutal because people aren't allowed to come home. Where do they go? I mean, surely they should be allowed to come home and go into a quarantine hotel, because what do you do?
I know.
Oh, they're just going to have to stay in India.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's a bit too much, to be honest.
Faith Goodman, why is the G7 not via Zoom?
Exactly.
Good question. South Africa is using Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson.
Did you see I was reading out to Mark this morning, Mahi in the Seychelles, which I've been to, it's so beautiful, who are the most vaccinated population, have now had to reintroduce, this is how the news, this was the headline, they've had to reintroduce social distancing and everything because they've had a quite fast rise in infections. So I'm reading it going, oh my God. And then, of course, they don't put it in the headline, but once you've read down into it, guess what the vaccine was, what they were vaccinated with?
What?
The Chinese vaccine,
Oh, yeah.
which is the same vaccine that they used in Chile And Chile, they've had to put back all the social distancing and everything because infection rates went crazy. So the Chinese vaccine, it seems, is not doesn't have the efficacy it first promised. I think it only said 65% in the first place, didn't it, Chinese one?
I heard Chris Whitty is looking into vaccines available for boosters, whether you can have a different one for the first 2 vaccinations. Jane Williams, you're absolutely right. It's Whitty who's driving this booster thing that's going to happen come August. You know, I suppose the issue I've got is when you hear stories about people from countries with high prevalence of new strains being able to divert through Turkey to get back here.
So annoying.
It strikes me as bizarre that we have no electronic system to find out where they came from.
That's why John says we just got to shut down the international travel because people are just abusing it. It's just disgusting. Shame on them. Like somebody that I know who knows somebody, she came back from, oh God, where was it? Brazil. And this person, I don't being really careful, had said, oh my God, you've got a tan. She goes, yes, I avoided the quarantine hotel by having a little holiday first in somewhere like Mexico or somewhere she went. And she was just saying that really openly, that she'd had a holiday somewhere first to divert, and that's all you had to do.
Do people have no self-awareness? That they would be a bit sort of like, oh, I shouldn't really promote that or publicise that.
Yeah,
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Civic responsibility.
Vanessa Wild, Australia's overreacted, leaving their citizens without a home. Well, Vanessa, I do tend to agree.
What?
I mean, imagine you're Australian, you were in India, and you're not allowed back.
Well, you'd have thought they would implement a quarantine, like you say, some kind of quarantine.
But they're not allowing any flights in.
Yeah, no, it's bizarre. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, you know, so there's lots of talk.
Ellen.
We're going to find out this week, you know, what places are on the green list. As I understand it, Portugal is. I think Kos, Crete, and Corfu will be.
Israel.
I think Malta, Israel. Yeah, absolutely.
Portugal.
So
I'm surprised about Portugal because Portugal
I am too.
was absolutely devastated by
Ravaged,
COVID.
wasn't it?
They were having to send doctors from all over the world were going to Portugal because they were unable to cope. So I'm really surprised.
Here's my thinking on this whole thing. Could we, I know we all want to travel and I know we all feel we have an entitlement to travel, but you know, if you go into the history of tourism, it's relative to the history of man. It's a relatively recent concept, you know, post-war. It's a post-World War II concept that we get very used to the idea that we have the right to travel wherever we want in the world at whatever cost. It increasingly reduced cost.
Well, that's why the planet's in the mess that it's in.
Could we perchance be in a situation here where maybe we can get a grip on this COVID, but one of the sacrifices is going to be something like just copious freedom to travel wherever we want, when we want, at whatever cost? You know, it doesn't always marry up that, you know, the solution to a problem means everything just gets back, you know, or at the very least that there might need to be a delay or that there might need to be a sort of stagger. I think it's that thing that I've always been worried about, a hungry passion. I think your friend Lee was saying, you know, I think when I talk to like Maddie and she talks to her friends, what they're most interested in is reconnecting and having shared experiences. But, you know, the whole kind of charging off abroad, it was interesting. They asked this guy yesterday from Imperial College who was giving this assessment of how we could have a normal Christmas. And he was being pressed on whether he would in any way book a holiday or whether he felt it was a civic responsibility not to. And he was erring on the side of saying, well, I don't want to say what I think everyone should do, but he said, I don't believe we should be chasing this thought this year. No. It's not an urgent part of our lives. No. You know, given the scale of the crisis we've come out of. Next year, maybe, let's talk about it. I do think that there's a bit of short-term thinking going on here.
Mars Kid Gaming, they had enough time to get back from India to Australia. We had flights, they decided to stay. Gabrielle, this is exactly what I was saying to Mark the other day. We are so lucky to have vaccines. Imagine if we didn't.
Oh my God.
Imagine.
Sometimes you sort of look at it and think, God, it's a perfect narrative that it came at the right time. Imagine if it had been an imperfect narrative, like that book, Station 11. Don't read that if you're frightened. Right, final story, guys. Meghan Markle has published or is publishing a children's book. A couple of interesting, intriguing details on this, which I'm going to leave floating in the air. She doesn't want, you know, the whole royal thing, but she's called Meghan the Duchess of Sussex is her name on the book. So, you know, they're not wanting to be royal and holding on to the royal kind of title is still there.
I think it would have been so powerful if she just called herself Meghan.
Yeah, I'm pleased you said that.
I mean, I do.
I think, yes. I think she's look, apparently their popularity has massively waned in the aftermath of the interview. And if you're going to do a damage limitation, in America, and if you're going to do a damage limitation on that popularity sort of waning, I think it's kind of backfired. I think you do strip yourself away from all the royal stuff. And she's written a book about the bond between father and son. And of course, a number of kind of, very sharp-penned kind of critics have said, how can she talk about the bond between a father and son when she has no bond with her own father?
Well, and also her husband now doesn't have
a bond
with his father. It's a very odd. I mean, the thing is, these things are written way before you see them, so this will have been.
But I would have advised her to knock Duchess of Sussex off the title.
Meghan.
Yeah,
just
so
say
of course.
Meghan.
Yeah, so of course.
Everyone knows. All you need is the name Meghan. Everyone knows who Meghan is.
Yeah, and start trading on just Meghan and Harry. So
Piers has gone.
Piers has already slammed the book after ruining Harry and Charles's ties. And I think there's,
Hold on, what's this? Meghan Markle's new children book was inspired by
Prince Harry and son Archie. It's about their relationship. It's about a father-son relationship. There's also been much made of the fact that he's represented, the father in the book is represented with his military honours as well, which is obviously something that Harry's had to let go of.
The thing is, it's just a constant contradiction, right? Why would you talk about the relationship between Harry and his son? It's going to cause, they're wanting their son to not have the kind of life that Harry had. Just, this child can be kept quiet and be kept away from everything. It can.
Yeah,
because they're in America now.
Linda, she's more popular in the US than she is in the UK, but a recent poll showed that their popularity has waned somewhat, both in the US and obviously more dramatically in the UK. I mean, look, writing a book is fine. I don't see a problem with that at all. But when you've got people hunting for the kind of inherent, hypocrisy or contradictions, I think you've got to tread carefully. So, of course, the press release has been released for this book. It's coming out in about a week or so. And it says at the bottom that Meghan Markle is not available for interview. So, I don't know, I would have probably just postponed it. I would have pushed it back a bit. It just feels a bit close to everything.
I think the publishers, and the thing is, often this stuff is out of a person's hands. So we could sit and go, why doesn't Meghan do this and why Meghan?
Absolutely.
It's out of your hands.
Contractually it is.
But I just think the timing is just, how can the publishers be so silly? Because of course she's going to get shot down in the way she's going to get shot down. Prince Philip has just died. There's been a lot of emotion around that and about Harry. It's just very odd timing.
And I think most crucially at the end here, just before we give a welcome to Diane Lloyd, Ribberley says, I think we need to know this. Did you know that Oliver Hardy's middle name was Norbit?
Thank you, Ribberley.
No, thanks for that. I like an interesting fact. I didn't know it was Norbit. A funny middle name, isn't it?
Faith Goodman says, cashing in on the royal family name after slagging them off or something like that. What did you say?
Oh.
Faith is always very...
Yeah.
After slacking them off, she does say that. I think, unfortunately, that is going to be largely the narrative around this, isn't it? Because it just feels, the timing of it is just bizarre.
Just leave it for so much longer,
especially when you've got right across the bottom of the book, Meghan, Duchess of... It's...
Again, it's
if it just
it's
been
about
Meghan, I would have thought that was so empowering.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so, this is this woman now standing away from this family and this organisation, institution that she doesn't believe in and that she believes needs to be questioned and dismantled and rethought and modernised, then stand with just your name, Meghan. That would be very powerful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Lior Piers is a stalker and a troll. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This is about... I just think sometimes it's not about what's right to do. Sometimes it's about protecting yourselves. And I think for Meghan and Harry, they need to insulate a little bit and just let the kind of... Let all the kind of stuff just dissipate and just all the drama disappear. And I think my advice, if I was advising, I'd be like, look, drop the Duchess of Sussex and publish it in another 6 months. That would be my advice. That would be it. Anyway, guys, we're going to scoot off. Look, home time last night. I keep hearing from lots of people. You found it very funny. It's very silly. Starts with my ludicrously long eyebrows and it ends with some total insanity with Nadia.
Yeah, so it's your first time joining us on the channel. Do check out our vlogs, our reality show, because they're great fun.
Yeah. And have a lovely day, guys. And as I say, get on your mark, get set. Cook is happening tonight in the members area. And something will be landing on the channel later. Have a lovely day, guys.
Bye.
Oh, and hang on. Welcome to Diane Lloyd.
Oh, go on.
Diane Lloyd. Diane Lloyd.
Diane Lloyd, welcome to our family guest area. Diane Lloyd, Diane Lloyd, Diane Lloyd, welcome to our family guest area.
Here we are.